Hello and welcome. I'm Jim Woodcock from Virtual Hero Media. I've been working in 3D printing now since about 2007, working on TCT magazine and on the big trade shows like Formnext and Rapid and TCT across the globe. And I've been helping out the Shapeways team with the relaunch and the bringing home of Shapeways. So on, it was the 3rd of December, we announced to the world that Shapeways is coming home under the new management team, 2 of which are joining us here today. So, Marleen, who are you and why are you here?
Well, kind of rolled into something, I guess. No, I mean, on a more serious note, I started Shapeways. We went live with the world's first upload and print 3D printing service back in 2008. And back then I was one of the co-founders, and I was COO, CFO at the moment. So I built basically most of the back-end operations. So that was 2 manufacturing plants, a whole vendor operations network, customer service, HR, finance, and financing of the business. And I left in 2014. But, I always continue to care, deeply about my baby, Shapeways, and, other people brought it forward. And in the last few years, it was quite obvious that Shapeways was going to go bankrupt with the strategy that they were following. So I always kept in touch with some of my old friends. And now I'm back again because earlier this year, the 5 of us decided that we wanted to save the company. And now I'm back officially since August 1st, but I've been involved behind the scenes a little bit longer. Now I'm the CEO of the business.
I think that attachment is something that's keenly felt across the board as well. I don't think it was just from the people that worked for and with Shapeways. I think a lot of the community members and the wider 3D printing industry were attached to that name because, like you say, from 2008, it really was a pioneering company in this space. So, Jules, how did you end up being with Shapeways?
Yeah, I started out in 2012, so I've been in additive manufacturing since 2012. Multiple operational roles, and since 2018 at the helm of the Eindhoven operations, really focusing on transitioning operations from a B2C to a B2B operation. And as you can imagine, producing 1,000 parts for 1,000 customers is different than producing 1,000 parts for one customer. So making sure that everything runs smoothly and there's consistency across the processes and the output that we deliver to our customers. It's been my focus, and I get really excited about the piece of the on-demand manufacturing and really solving our customers' needs in that context. So that's also why I've been with the company for so long. And past year, very early on, tried to already save the company. As Marleen mentioned, we made an effort to save it before it went bankrupt. Happy to say that we're here, we're back with having Shapeways. We're back in business to solve our to serve our customers again. That's a bit about me.
Shapeways is one of those big brands in 3D printing with that legacy and being so important to so many people is obviously it's something that is worth saving, that people wanted to be saved. And didn't want to be just consigned to the history books, as well, we see a lot of times with brands in 3D printing, especially at the moment.
Yeah.
So it was worth saving. People wanted it to be saved, but that doesn't mean necessarily that it is an easy process to save from the bankruptcy. So what would you say are the biggest challenges you faced and the biggest considerations when looking to bring the brand back?
Well, to bring it back, the biggest consideration was, first of all, saving the jobs, but also just the 5 of us and actually also the rest of the team, because it wasn't just the 5 of us, actually, who worked day and night to make this happen. So it's not only the team that wanted to have the company survive. We also had our customers reaching out to us before and after the bankruptcy that they so much wanted that to happen. So that was incredibly encouraging. And we used that energy to kind of overcome these massive amounts of hurdles that we had to run over. But the biggest hurdle was, initially trying to prevent the bankruptcy, which we unfortunately were not able to do. We did make a bid towards the board, but that was rejected. And then quite soon thereafter, the company went bankrupt. That was quite unfortunate because we could have saved many more jobs than we did right now. But it is what it is. We were not in a position to influence that in any other way than we tried to do. And then if you look at the period after the bankruptcy, you see kind of the challenges that there was a bankruptcy in two different jurisdictions. So the Netherlands and the USA. And both of those trustees work at a very different speed. And therefore, because the Netherlands actually works quite fast, and pays people quite decent unemployment rate, we were able to resurrect the company quite quickly and negotiate with the Dutch trustee. I do want to say that, when we started out on this journey, we definitely wanted to save the business, but none of this, especially including getting the trademark of Shapeways in the US back, was actually given when we started this journey. Not at all. So the first hurdle was dealing with the Netherlands trustee. There were other bidders, but we had the smartest bid, if I can humbly say so. And of course, we had the team, and that was really important for the Dutch trustee, because retaining their jobs is a very important element in a process like this in the Netherlands. And then secondly, we were able to buy back the assets from the American trustee, and again, that was not a given. And of course, we had to, as another massive challenge that we had, we basically had a very experienced team, super dedicated, working night and day to get systems up and running again. And so on the one hand, you have a fully functioning company with existing customers who want to come back. But on the other hand, you have nothing. You have an empty business, no payroll, no insurances, no nothing. So running a fully functioning business while setting up everything at the same time is something that we've done now first in the Netherlands, and we're now doing again in the USA. And that's challenging, but not on but we did it. So I'm very proud of that.
And in terms of what was available to you, I believe you lost some of the sales channels as well as because the previous management took the company into bankruptcy, and then it had to be acquired out of bankruptcy. You lost those sales channels, Jules.
Yeah, that's correct, Jim. So in this process, we lost 3 out of 4 sales channels. So Shapeways previously had the marketplace, self-serve, the API customers, and the managed accounts. And 3 of them, being the API, self-serve, and the marketplace, were lost, or at least tied up into the bankruptcy of the US. So the only thing that we could take over from the start was the managed accounts, and we were very happy by the positive response by many of our customers that they wanted to stay and wanted to continue with us. So that was great. And now with the taking over of the assets in the US, we've also been able to take over the self-serve again. But still, it means that we're down 2 out of 4 sales channels.
Yeah, and we'll add the third one, the API, sometime later. We're working on that.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that actually takes us into the questions that we've had around Manuevo and Shapeways. So it's obviously been a complex situation, and there was this timeline that's been illustrated of there was Shapeways, then there was Manuevo, and then there was Shapeways. Certainly in the Netherlands. So what was Manuevo, and why was it founded? What was its purpose, and how does that relate now to Shapeways going forward?
Well, when we decided to continue to try and save Shapeways with the 5 of us, we knew that the Dutch trustee would go much faster than an American trustee. And we immediately knew, like Jules said, that the only way for us to get back in business again, the fastest way was through the managed accounts. and therefore we needed to have a business in the Netherlands in order to be able to obtain the Dutch assets, which was the whole factory with all of the machinery, all the stocks, and being able to retain the majority of the team there. And therefore we needed an entity, and we baptized it Manuevo, hoping that it would be a temporary name and that we would at some point get the US assets back, and specifically the American Shapeways trade name. So that's why we started working as Manuevo for the last 4 months. And now, it has shown that we were successful in obtaining the Shapeways trademark back again. So we will sunset the name of Manuevo.
I don't think it's as strong a brand as Shapeways anyway, really.
No.
It's a fine name, but it's not the same.
It got the job done.
It got the job done. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It was necessary.
Yeah.
Yes.
So other questions that we've had, and we've kind of touched on it, is because the bankruptcy is the more convoluted and complex route that this could have followed. Like you say, it would have been much easier had you been able to take control of the company before bankruptcy, and there were things that you would have been in your control then, which ultimately weren't because of the bankruptcy. So one of the main issues that people will think about is the IP and the model data that people had linked to Shapeways before the bankruptcy. We've said when we made the announcement that data was lost. Maybe we could just talk a little bit more detail about what lost means in this scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. So as part of Shapeways, all customer data, model data, and related IP has always been customer owned. So meaning any customer that came to our to our service before bankruptcy, and now as well, by the way, and they shared with us their files, they would still be the rightful owner of those files.
Mm-hmm.
So which also meant that after bankruptcy, the trustee was not able to sell them, meaning for us we were not able to acquire them, if at all we would have wanted that. So that means that the bankruptcy and the business as such came clean to us without any previous IP or model data from customers.
Mm.
Yeah. And so in the Netherlands, all of our devices and the servers were actually wiped through a certified process. And what it means in total for any of our shop owners or makers, it means 2 things. People who had outstanding orders with Shapeways, we do not have that data. It is gone. We simply don't know. So if you have any problems, please contact us, because we have no idea if what order might be outstanding from you. We don't know. And secondly, the model data is gone. That has pros and cons in the sense that it's safe. It's not going to get into the hands of any ill will party with ill will.
Mm.
But the negative that is that the marketplace, all the data is gone, and therefore we were not able to restart that.
Yeah. So it's not as if the trustee has segregated that data and it could go into a potential other sale. The
No.
trustees were never able to sell that IP because it belongs to each individual who uploaded the models or owned the shop. Or
Yeah. The only thing unfortunate in that process is there were people who only had their models saved with Shapeways. And not on their home computers or home servers or anything like that. And that is, those stories are not easy to listen to be honest.
Yeah, no doubt. So just going back to the Manuevo point, if somebody had an account with Manuevo, that, because it has been wholly owned by this new management team throughout, that will just transfer into Shapeways now, whereas the old Shapeways accounts are gone and lost in the bankruptcy, but anything since the start of Manuevo into the new iteration of Shapeways will just transfer across, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. The only thing that needs to be done is to reset your password, but everything else transfers.
Perfect. So it's been a big project, a complicated project, one that has aged the 5 of you by several years in trying to achieve this. Not that you can tell. But obviously, it's not just about saving what was a sort of foundational brand in the 3D space. It's about where you see being able to take that now. So what are the greatest opportunities ahead now that you have Shapeways back and are able to set your vision and your mission for the company?
Well, there's what needs to still happen on the short term, and then there's what we see for Shapeways in the long term. On the short term, we're still very much focused on regaining the business that Shapeways once had. We of course started very strongly with the managed accounts on the B2B side. Shapeways had turned from a mostly B2C company to a B2B company in the last 8 years or so. And we will continue to focus on the B2B side of the business. On the long term, that means that, we want to be a digital manufacturing engine, whether it is for our managed accounts or whether it is for our partners that we work with, to enable their clientele to get 3D printed parts or any kind of digitally manufactured parts. So we're very much focused on either our own managed B2B accounts or developing partnerships with other parties in order to be a digital manufacturing engine for their clientele. So that's basically what we're going to be focusing on in the long term, really creating solution packages for B2B clients there. On the more short term, we've been working very hard to find a solution for our marketplace customers. Shapeways walked away from them. I don't know the exact timeline, but about, Jules, I think you know better, but about 8-9 years ago.
No, 2018.
2018. And, the marketplace customers, they were our first and most loyal customers in the beginning. We grew because of these people. They were so excited about, turning bits into atoms, and that we did that for them. And it is because of them that we found our early success. So even though Shapeways walked away from the marketplace about 8 years ago, the base team that is back now still very much cares for those customers, even though we haven't served them that well in the last 8 years, to be honest. But what we've been doing in the last few months is trying to see, okay, what's the alternative? Because our marketplace, that software was kind of dilapidated and because it hadn't been invested in since 2018. But even so, there is still a core of that Shapeways community that was still alive. So we've been scratching our heads and thinking, okay, how do we serve these people in a better way, or at least give them a home to land towards to? And I'm actually very proud right now to announce that I think we found a solution. No, I know we found a solution. And not only did we last week, get the Shapeways assets back, but a few days later, it was actually quite a phenomenal and scary week. We bought Thangs, and you might not know it, or you might know it, but Thangs is one of the world's largest 3D file sharing marketplaces. And this is where people that used to be part of our community or are still part of our community also go to share their 3D files and their designs with the rest of the world. And Thangs is a very modern platform. And I actually called them a couple of months ago to ask them, hey, can we collaborate on a business development deal? So we have a place for all of our former shop owners and makers to land. Would you guys be willing to create a print to Shapeways button API? And they're like, sure. And what has happened is not only that, but we've actually purchased Thangs. So Thangs is now a subsidiary of the new Shapeways. And we will work very hard in the coming months to create a print to Shapeways API and to actually create a shop environment for our former shop owners. So I'm so excited about that. Specifically Not only because Thangs is a very modern platform, but because I know that the team of Thangs is very focused on community engagement. They really love their creators and they take good care of them. And that's exactly to the old spirit that Shapeways used to have. And what's also important is that they've developed technology that protects the IP of their creators, because they have 3D search technology and they crawl the internet. And so because of this bankruptcy, people lost their IP or were very afraid that it was going to get stolen and get into the wrong hands. Now we're not only, acquired a company that can give these people a new home, but we can give them a new home where we can actively protect the IP of the creators. And that is something that is really a step up from the former Shapeways marketplace. So what you'll see is we'll be working very hard within Thangs to create a print to Shapeways API and later shops. And I'm really excited about that. So Thangs, just to be clear, becomes the consumer brand around maker and community makers and community engagement, whereas Shapeways will really focus on being the B2B brand and being this, let's say, in the background manufacturing engine for many different companies.
Excellent news. I've not been to business school and I've not done an MBA, but I'm guessing in there they don't advise to relaunch a brand on the Tuesday and then complete your biggest acquisition on the Friday. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe that's just my...
Oh, man. It's been if we say roller coaster, Jules.
Yes.
Oh.
Or a box of chocolates.
So, we have a lot of work ahead of us, but, we're trying to do this the right way, Jim. And I really hope, I truly believe that the team of Thangs are really a wonderful set of people that are so engaged and they're so smart. And they know, I'm more than excited to work with them.
Stuff. And for the time being, whether you're printing something from Thangs or you're on the B2B side, that will be produced in Eindhoven. So is one of your ambitions then to expand back out from Eindhoven in terms of the manufacturing ability?
Yeah, that's our ambition indeed again. So obviously we've got our internal capabilities in Eindhoven. We have a supply chain network with whom we collaborate to produce parts for customer. But in the end, also our ambition is to scale operations back in the US. It's a big market, and we want to serve our customers as local as possible, delivering best quality products as soon as possible to their doorsteps. And for that, it's pivotal to also be operational in the US again.
Yeah.
Excellent. I think with the vision and the new management team's commitment to, like you say, creating a stable business that really delivers on its promises. And I think that applies that's not just a lesson for Shapeways, that's a lesson, I think, for the whole 3D printing industry, certainly, is, that there's a core of a very good business. Often there's a kernel of a very good business in there that has these additional layers piled on it until it topples over. But if you can get back to doing the things that you're really good at and engaging the people who want your services or goods in a positive and proactive way and really trying to find the solutions for them, then you can, bring these things back to life. So it's been a fascinating week.
You could not have summarized it any better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for your time. Appreciate it. And maybe we'll do this again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.